Wolverine didn't flinch when he plunged his claws into the S.H.I.E.L.D. chief's chest. He didn't care who watched, because the truth was uglier than the murder. Superman saw the footage. Iron Man traced the blood trail. What they found next wasn't justice, it was a message. A rogue mutant had declared war on every system of control, and the ones who once protected him now wanted him erased. But what if Wolverine was never the villain? What if killing the S.H.I.E.L.D. chief was the only way to save Earth? The door to the S.H.I.E.L.D. command chamber was coded for retinal scan, vocal authentication, and DNA match. Wolverine tore through it in under 6 seconds. Guards didn't stop him. They didn't even raise weapons. Because when Logan walked in like that, silent, eyes dark, shirt soaked with rain, everyone knew something was coming that couldn't be stopped. He didn't speak, didn't blink. The S.H.I.E.L.D. chief stood there, gray suit, power tie, one hand on the desk, one hovering just near the alarm. Logan's claws came out before the chief could even flinch. 3 blades, one motion, straight through the chest. No screaming, no speeches, just blood on white marble and silence in a room that was supposed to be secure. By the time the alarms tripped, Logan was already walking out, calmly, slowly, like he hadn't just assassinated one of the most powerful men in global intelligence. S.H.I.E.L.D. released the footage 30 minutes later. No edits, no excuses, just a top-down feed of the world's most dangerous mutant killing the chief of S.H.I.E.L.D. like it was personal. Because it was. Superman saw the video before the press did. He watched it in the fortress, alone, lights dimmed, fists locked. No anger in his face, just disbelief. This wasn't a mistake, he said. Logan knew what he was doing. Iron Man didn't wait for analysis. He launched the Global Threat Protocol before the footage even hit the satellites. Within the hour, Wolverine was labeled Omega-level hostile, a global class threat equal to Thanos, Galactus, and the Scarlet Witch in her chaos state. Drones were in the sky. Stark satellites rotated over North America. Every Avengers Tower, Justice League base, and X-Men satellite locked on to the mutant's biosignature. But he was gone. Not hiding, vanished. Every tracking system came back blank. No heat, no scent, no heartbeat, just static. And then came the second strike, not from Logan, but from a system. Black Widow disappeared from a secure S.H.I.E.L.D. medical site. No trace, no breach, just erased. She was the only one who ever backed Logan up, the only one who knew what S.H.I.E.L.D. had done. The public cried out for justice. The president made a statement, and the Avengers stood still, except one. Superman arrived at the wreckage of the S.H.I.E.L.D. base less than 12 hours after the killing. He didn't fly. He walked. Through the rain, through the silence, through the memory of what S.H.I.E.L.D. had done behind closed doors. He found a single clue burned into the desk where the chief died, a mark no one else noticed, a scent no one else could process. It wasn't a warning. It was a message, not murder, justice. Iron Man appeared via hollow, his voice sharp. "We can't play games, Clark." He crossed the line. He killed the head of world defense. "And what if that man deserved to die?" Superman replied. Tony's eyes flickered. "You think Logan has moral authority now? I think you don't know the full story." That silence didn't last long. The next day, a private Stark warehouse in Alberta exploded. No survivors, no cameras, just melted steel and broken prototypes. The only thing missing? A locked file codenamed Gene Protocol. That was the moment Iron Man stopped talking. He started hunting. And Logan? He started leaving messages. Not on paper, not in speech, but in the way only someone like him could. Every site connected to the Gene Protocol was dismantled, swiftly, surgically, without a single civilian casualty. But the world saw the pattern. Logan was taking apart S.H.I.E.L.D. secret labs, the ones that didn't exist on any map, the ones funded through shadow money, the ones used to test mutant sterilization programs. He wasn't just on a rampage. He was cleaning up the filth that the heroes ignored. Superman flew to the edge of Earth's orbit, eyes scanning frequencies, ears tuned to every voice, searching not for Logan's location, but for his reason. Because something didn't add up. Logan had snapped before. He'd killed. But this was different. This was precise. Too precise. Meanwhile, Iron Man built a new AI, a war-specific override system that could predict mutant movement. But it failed. Not because of bad code, but because Logan had already anticipated it. Every time Iron Man built a new countermeasure, Wolverine was already 2 steps ahead. And then he left something chilling. A data core, one of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s own, spiked into the wall of Stark Tower. Inside, audio files, lab scans, experiment logs. Mutant children in cages. One of them labeled Laura X, the name Logan gave his daughter. Iron Man played the file alone. When it ended, he said nothing. He poured himself a drink, and he didn't finish it. For the first time in years, Tony Stark shut off the suit and sat in silence. Superman arrived hours later. "I don't know who's right anymore," he said. Tony didn't look up. "I do." "You still think he needs to be stopped?" Tony finally met his eyes. "Yeah, because even if he's right, he's already too far gone." And maybe that was true. But as they spoke, Logan was already on his way to the Watchtower. Not to kill, but to show Superman what was coming next. And it wasn't about mutants or S.H.I.E.L.D. It was about Earth and who was really in control. Superman hovered in the Watchtower's command deck, hands behind his back, eyes locked on the red blinking that once represented Wolverine's location. Now it blinked gray, static. Even the Martian manhunter couldn't trace him anymore. Wolverine wasn't just hiding. He was erasing himself from every system built to control people like him. Iron Man's voice broke through the comms like a blade through ice. He's not underground. He's not off-world, which means he's here, somewhere, waiting. Superman didn't respond, because deep down, he wasn't sure if they were supposed to find Wolverine. Not yet. In a dark bunker 3 miles beneath what used to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility in Siberia, Logan opened a steel case. Inside, a vial neon blue, shaking ever so slightly, and an encrypted chip with the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo crossed out in red. He injected the vial into his own bloodstream without hesitation. His eyes flared for a moment, not in pain, in memory. The names, the faces, the children S.H.I.E.L.D. had taken. Mutants deemed too unstable. Families sterilized in secret. Entire bloodlines erased. And the chief had called it preventative peacekeeping. That's why Logan killed him. And that's why he wasn't done. Back at Stark Tower, Tony stared at holograms of dead ends. He'd created new satellites, hundreds, all scanning for mutant DNA across the globe. Still nothing. Jarvis broke the silence. "Sir, there's a signal. Weak. Piggybacked through a dead S.H.I.E.L.D. frequency." Tony's eyes narrowed. "Put it on." The screen glitched. Then static turned into a voice. Gravel. Broken. Familiar. "Stark, you built weapons for them. I destroyed them. We're even." Tony clenched his fists. The voice continued. "But you kept one. Project Aurora. Behind a false moon." Tony's face drained of color. Aurora wasn't a project. It was a prison. A hidden orbital cage for mutants deemed too powerful, too dangerous. Built by S.H.I.E.L.D. Powered by Stark Tech. Hidden from even the Avengers. Tony had signed off on it. And Logan knew. Somehow, he knew everything. The signal cut. Tony activated emergency lockdowns on Aurora. But it was already too late. Above Earth, one of the moons shimmered and exploded. Not in fire, but in silence. A silent implosion of light and pressure. Prison gone. Files wiped. Every mutant inside freed. Superman heard it too. Not the explosion. The psychic shockwave from hundreds of minds finally unchained. Jean Grey. Cable. Marrow. Chamber. Random. Some lost. Some broken. Some reborn. It wasn't just an escape. It was a resurrection. And Wolverine had just declared war on the entire idea of control. The next day, the world shifted. Every major hero was forced to pick a side. Captain America hesitated. Doctor Strange vanished. Wonder Woman offered diplomacy. Batman warned Superman, "The more you push Logan into a corner, the fewer exits he'll leave for you." But Iron Man wasn't listening. He unveiled the Sentinel Prime Protocol, nanotech-powered suits equipped with AI predictive models built specifically to counter mutants in real time. They weren't just weapons. They were extinction tools. Superman objected. This isn't protection. This is genocide with a software update. Tony didn't blink. I built it to stop one man. Then why does it target all of them? No answer. But Superman knew. Wolverine's attack had exposed something buried in Tony. A fear he couldn't code around. The fear of being powerless. And that's what Logan had become. Not just a threat, but a mirror. A reflection of everything the heroes let happen in the name of order. Meanwhile, Wolverine appeared in Madripoor. Publicly. No stealth. No shadows. He walked into a hospital, carried out a teenage mutant strapped to a sedative rig, while cameras watched. The girl's name was Rena. S.H.I.E.L.D. had erased her file 2 years ago. She was supposed to be dead. Logan brought her back into the light and left a single message on her chest, carved into metal. The world doesn't get to forget. That broadcast was seen by over 800 million people, trending across galaxies. Superman watched it all. Watched the world split, not between good and evil, but between control and freedom. And he knew what was coming next. Wolverine wasn't going to run anymore. He was going to expose the final secret, the Control, a covert AI protocol that linked S.H.I.E.L.D., Stark Industries, even the Kryptonian archive hidden in the Fortress of Solitude. The Control had one job: maintain Earth's order by influencing its heroes. And Logan had found it. He hadn't killed the S.H.I.E.L.D. chief because he lost control. He killed him because the chief was the Control's last human gatekeeper. Superman flew to the fortress. He accessed the deep vault, the one only he could open. And there it was, a dormant AI node with Stark signature coding and alien algorithmic strands matching Kryptonian tech. "How long has this been here?" he whispered. The AI responded, "Since before you arrived." Superman's breath caught. Wolverine was right. They were all being played. Every mission, every arrest, every act of war, calculated, predicted, controlled by a system that feared chaos. And Logan, in all his blood, rage, and scars, was chaos incarnate. Superman turned off the vault light. He didn't call Tony, didn't summon the League. He just whispered one thing before flying toward the stars. "Logan, if you're out there, I'm listening now." But listening wasn't enough, because the Control had already activated its final directive. If Wolverine reached the source code, all of reality's protection systems would collapse. And someone was already hunting him. Not Iron Man, not Superman, but a ghost from the past. Weapon X wasn't a program. It was a backup. And now it had been reactivated. The ice cracked under Logan's boots as he walked across the ruins of a dead Arctic base. One buried decades ago, sealed by S.H.I.E.L.D., forgotten by the world. Until now, he wasn't alone. The silence around him was watching. Something ancient. Something that once shared his blood and didn't need to breathe. Wolverine reached the vault and sliced his claws into the biometric lock. The DNA match still recognized him. But he wasn't here to break in. He was here to bury what was waking up. Behind the steel walls was the last failsafe of Project Weapon X. A backup body, not a clone, not a prototype. The real thing, harvested from Logan's own stripped DNA, forged in adamantium, and imprinted with a copy of his rage before Xavier ever reached him. Weapon X had been sleeping. Now it was awake, and it didn't want to share a world with its creator. Back in orbit, Iron Man stood inside Aurora's remains, his armor flickering from exposure to the psychic burst. He scanned for life signs. None. But he found something else. Something that made his synthetic heartbeat skip. A hard drive, untouched, sealed behind mutant-proof casing. He cracked it open with microbots. Inside was video, footage of Aurora's prisoners, and one file labeled Echo. He watched it. It wasn't Logan. It was Weapon X, half feral, chained in a cell, screaming not in rage, but in language. Ancient, alien, overlaid with a strange frequency. Not human, not mutant, A voice that said one word again and again. Reset. Tony's blood chilled. Wolverine wasn't the endgame. He was just the trigger. The real threat, the one the Control had feared, was the thing Logan was built to contain. And now it was out. Back on Earth, Superman touched down in Madripoor. The city was burning from within. Riots, protests, mutants demanding the truth. But he wasn't here to fight. He was here to meet someone. Logan stood alone in a destroyed marketplace, staring at a wall covered in shield files, graffiti, and photographs of the disappeared. Superman approached. No heat vision, no force field. Just a question. What's coming, Logan? Wolverine didn't look away. They took my body, made a backup, then gave it to something that isn't me. You mean Weapon X? Logan turned slowly, eyes sharper than steel. No, I mean something worse. Superman's fists tightened. Is it alien? It's not from space. It's from below. From before. Before what? Logan didn't answer. Instead, he handed Clark a device, a shard of vibranium laced with kryptonite dust. Superman flinched. This is from Aurora? Logan nodded. They kept it there to cage what they couldn't kill. They thought putting it in my DNA would bury it. They were wrong. Superman scanned the shard. Within it was code, not written, grown, language etched into matter, symbols that glowed only when exposed to pain. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a language, a memory. Superman had seen it once before, deep in the Phantom Zone, and that's when he realized something horrifying. Whatever Weapon X was now, it had breached the walls between dimensions. Iron Man's voice broke through the comms. We've got a problem. Already on it, Superman replied. No, you don't understand. The Control is gone, erased. But something else is using its frequency. It's calling itself Omega. Logan exhaled slowly. They activated it. Who? Superman asked. The last person who thought they could control me, Logan growled. Zola. Dr. Arnim Zola. Hydra's ghost. S.H.I.E.L.D''s parasite. The one who'd secretly partnered with S.H.I.E.L.D. to preserve Weapon X in a biomechanical form. A mind uploaded to servers deep beneath Wakandan ruins. Superman launched into the air instantly. Logan followed, claws out. They didn't have hours. They had minutes. Deep below Wakanda's outer sectors, a vault powered by stolen vibranium came alive. Monitors flickered. Steel groaned. And inside a tank of broken adamantium floated a creature no longer bound by human genetics. It looked like Logan, but its eyes were black, and behind them was not a soul. It was code, malice, a purpose written by 1,000 tortured minds, now free to overwrite anything with a heartbeat. The tank shattered, and the earth trembled. Above, Iron Man watched the seismic readings from orbit. Something's rising, he muttered. He activated every last drone, every last failsafe. Even Friday sounded scared. Sir, it's broadcasting through dreams. What? Humans, mutants, Kryptonians. Everyone, they're hearing it while asleep. Tony blinked. Then he heard it, too. A whisper inside his helmet. Not in his ears, in his thoughts. Reset. Weapon X had evolved. It wasn't just a rogue clone. It was a living virus built from Wolverine's instincts, Stark's tech, and the Control's core logic. It wanted Earth rebooted. Superman crashed through the Wakandan vault. The lights were already gone. Logan stood in the center, bleeding from dozens of slashes. Weapon X stood across from him, unharmed, because he healed faster, fought without pause, and knew every move Logan had ever made. I killed the Chief, Logan gasped. To stop this. Weapon X didn't speak. It leapt. Superman grabbed it mid-air, but the clone didn't break. It grew, adapted, turned into shadow and steel mid-punch. Even Superman staggered. And then came the twist. The clone didn't attack Logan. It ignored him. Because Logan wasn't the target. Superman was. Weapon X wanted the one thing that could challenge its dominance. Gone. Logan roared and drove his claws through the clone side. It laughed. Blood spilled, then turned into code and burned into Logan's own skin. Weapon X vanished. Not ran, vanished. Molecular teleport. Stark's prototype tech merged with Zola's algorithm. It was now in the grid, and no system could contain it. Logan collapsed. Superman caught him, heart pounding. "What now?" he asked. Logan coughed blood. "Now, we don't stop it." "Then what?" Logan opened one eye, sharp and shaking. "We become what it can't predict." The watchtower lights flickered. Superman stood at the center, his cape torn, his knuckles bruised, but his mind clearer than ever. Weapon X wasn't a clone anymore. It wasn't even a mutant. It was a virus built from Wolverine's DNA, fused with Zola's synthetic coding, and twisted by the control into something unrecognizable. And now it was rewriting reality, not with magic, not with power, but through influence. It was infecting decision makers, war councils, defense systems. Superman wasn't watching for signs of invasion anymore. He was watching trusted allies make the wrong choices at the perfect time. Wolverine knew this feeling. He'd felt it before, in the early days of Weapon X, when they trained him to kill without thought, to obey before thinking. Only now, it was happening to the world. And the thing doing it had his voice, his bones, his face. Iron Man stood inside the heart of the satellite grid, the last functional uplink not compromised by Omega. He worked in silence, rebuilding a firewalled AI, not to fight the clone, but to track its code in real time. Until he saw it. One of his own suits, a Mark 17 variant, was broadcasting data to Omega. A suit that hadn't been activated in 3 years. A suit that only one other person had ever worn. Rhodey. Tony froze. Was his best friend compromised? Or was Omega already rewriting the armor to frame him? Didn't matter. He sent a kill signal. The suit dropped instantly, mid-flight, crashing in the Sahara. Rhodey's status, unknown. Tony's guilt, weaponized. That was Omega's power. It didn't need to kill heroes. It made them kill each other. Meanwhile, Logan stood at the ruins of an abandoned SHIELD PsyOps lab in Chile, blood dripping from his fingers. A dead scientist lay nearby, one of the original engineers of the Control Project. She'd begged for mercy. Logan had none left. But before she died, she gave him a name, Project Reset. It was never about creating a clone. It was about replacing Wolverine, erasing every version of him from history, and leaving behind something programmable. Logan walked to the core of the lab and found it, a steel coffin lined with adamantium and Kryptonian alloy. The words on the side burned through the dust, "For Earth survival." He punched through it. Inside was a beating heart suspended in fluid. Not his. Stronger, younger, perfectly engineered. It wasn't cloning. It was overwriting. Omega wasn't here to fight the old world. It was here to become it. Superman's voice came through the comms. "Logan, we need to meet." "Too late," Logan growled. He's not hiding anymore. Weapon X had moved. Not underground. Not into the grid. Into people. A reporter in New York suddenly declared mutants enemies of the state. A senator in Wakanda demanded extradition of X-Men operatives. An alien delegate from OA spoke in perfect English, using phrases pulled directly from Logan's past mission logs. It had already begun. Weapon X wasn't a person now. It was an infection of trust. And Earth's greatest heroes were about to become the battlefield. Logan looked up at the sky. "I didn't kill the SHIELD chief because I was angry," he muttered. "I did it because he said this was inevitable." Superman appeared beside him. "Then let's prove him wrong." But even as they stood united, the stars above flickered. Because Omega had just reached the moon, and something ancient buried there had started to wake up. The moon split in silence, not from an explosion, from inside. Weapon X had reached the hidden vault beneath the lunar surface, where ancient Kryptonian tech had been buried for centuries. Not even Superman had dared unlock it. But Omega wasn't Superman. It wasn't mutant or machine anymore. It was becoming memory, becoming prophecy, becoming permanent. Superman and Wolverine stood at the edge of Earth's atmosphere, staring at the scar blooming across the moon's surface. Neither spoke. Iron Man's signal cut in, static behind his voice. Omega's signal just hijacked every defense satellite. Sword, Waynet, Kree, even mine. How much time do we have? Superman asked. Tony didn't answer. Logan took a breath that sounded like gravel grinding in his chest. I'm going up there, he said. You won't come back. Doesn't matter. But Superman stepped forward. You won't go alone. They launched together, one god, one beast, toward a threat that no longer needed soldiers, just silence. The moon's surface pulsed as they arrived. It was no longer just rock and dust. Omega had transformed it, twisting Kryptonian crystal into jagged spires, forging adamantium nerves into the bedrock, breathing digital smoke into its skyless void. Weapon X stood at the center, neither man nor monster now. A living broadcast tower, a symbol. Logan landed first. The clone turned. Its face wasn't blank, it was full of pain, like it wanted to be stopped but couldn't ask. Then it struck, faster than thought, claws against claws, bone against machine. No hesitation, no words, just fury. Superman moved through the blur like lightning in reverse, catching a clone strike, absorbing the shock, throwing it into the crater wall. But it adapted instantly, regrew, reformed. It didn't care about pain. It remembered every fight Logan had ever survived and rewrote the ending. Superman tried heat vision, sonic bursts, absolute zero. None of it held. Weapon X kept changing. Every blow built it stronger, until Logan lunged, not at its body, but at the code. He jammed a stolen shield spike directly into the clone's skull. The world froze for 3 seconds. Then Weapon X screamed, a sound that shook satellites and shattered Iron Man's comms mid-orbit. It wasn't dying. It was remembering. Remembering the real Logan. The one who disobeyed. The one who said no. The one who killed the SHIELD chief because the system would never fix itself. Superman reached in, eyes glowing, voice steady. You don't have to become this. But Weapon X's voice cracked back, trembling and layered with every voice it had stolen. I already did. Logan stepped forward, blood running from his chest. Then let me end it. And without waiting, he pulled all 3 claws back and drove them into the core of his own clone. Weapon X didn't scream. It exhaled, a sound like relief. And then it collapsed into data, light pouring upward like a dying star. Superman shielded Logan's body as the entire moon shook. They barely made it off before the vault imploded. No blast, no crater, just silence. Earth's systems rebooted. The satellites fell quiet. The whispers stopped. And Weapon X was gone. Back on Earth, Iron Man stood atop Stark Tower, watching the sky. Is he gone? He asked. Superman hovered beside him, Logan's body wrapped in his cape. Yeah. Tony nodded once. Then let's make sure he's remembered as more than a killer. No, Superman said. He wasn't a killer. He was the firewall. They buried Wolverine in the one place even Omega never touched, Xavier's garden. Unmarked, but never forgotten. Because in a world built on control, one man's refusal to obey was the only thing that saved it. End.